Monthly greetings, one and all. Sharms Espina here, homegrown and happy to bring you PTV News Now. Now, starting off our stories for tonight. Birds of a feather. Senator Aquilino Coco Pimentel III is co-opposition colleague Senator Risa Hontiveros' choice to join the Commission on Appointment panel. Should Senator Pimentel's nomination pass muster, then the Senate minority bloc shall have full representation in the powerful Senate panel. Hontiveros expressed optimism over the impending resumption of sessions of Congress on the 2nd of June, when the Commission on Appointment shall have convened to tackle and fill out membership vacancies and confirm Pimentel's nomination. Senator Coco, the current minority leader and former Senate president, has the experience and qualifications to join the distinguished panel that vets and plays devil's advocate on all presidential nominations to the cabinet, the Judiciary and Bar Council, and Foreign Service, Military, and Constitutional Commissions. And in news overseas, U.S. President Donald J. Trump convened a joint session of both chambers of Congress to tout the achievements of his nascent administration, taking swipes at his predecessor and needling the Democrat Party, while his GOP supporters and fanatics cheered him on and stood in applause on many parts of his speech. Trump talked about his ongoing work to formidably slash the bureaucracy and save federal money, his efforts to eke out a peace deal with Ukraine and Russia, his steep tariffs that are in effect against Canada, China, and Mexico, but steered clear of rising inflation and the cost of essentials, as VOA's Patsy Witakoswara reports from Washington, D.C.
President Donald Trump's Tuesday evening speech marks his first address to a joint session of Congress since he began his second term on January 20.
America's momentum is back. Our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before.
But barely 5 minutes in, the Democratic Representative Al Green of Texas began shouting that Trump had, quote, no mandate to cut Medicaid, the government aid program for medical coverage for low-income people.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir.
Green was escorted out. Trump highlighted the steep tariffs he enacted Tuesday on China and U.S. neighbors Mexico and Canada. These top three U.S. trading partners have threatened retaliation, sending financial markets tumbling amid fears of a new trade war.
There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much.
Earlier this week, Trump paused military aid to Ukraine, following last week's combative Oval Office meeting with President Volodymyr Zelensky over a deal that would give the U.S. rights to Ukrainian rare earth minerals. It's part of his efforts to press Kyiv to take a deal to end the fight against Russia's invasion of the country.
Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace.
In delivering the Democrats' response, Senator Elisa Slotkin of Michigan highlighted Trump's fiery exchange with Zelensky.
And that scene in the Oval Office wasn't just a bad episode of reality TV. It summed up Trump's whole approach to the world. He believes in cozying up to dictators like Vladimir Putin and kicking our friends like the Canadians in the teeth. He sees American leadership as merely a series of real estate transactions.
Other Democrats signaled their protest while Trump spoke, wearing pink to call attention to Trump's policies they say negatively impact women and families, and holding signs including Musk steals.
Doge. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps.
Referring to efforts by tech billionaire Elon Musk to slash federal bureaucracy by canceling government contracts and firing tens of thousands of federal employees.
And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately. Because we are draining the swamp.
Again, the Democrats' response from Slotkin.
You want to cut waste? I'll help you do it. But change doesn't need to be chaotic or make us less safe. The mindless firing of people who work to protect our nuclear weapons, keep our planes from crashing, and conduct the research that finds the cure for cancer, only to rehire them 2 days later? No CEO in America could do that without being summarily fired.
Trump credited himself for the drop in the number of migrants illegally crossing the U.S. southern border.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation, we must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Sitting with First Lady Melania Trump were guests whose life experiences amplify her husband's agenda, including an activist against transgender athletes in women's sports and the family of a woman killed by an undocumented immigrant. Trump repeated his calls to take back the Panama Canal and take over Greenland, but not his demands to expel Palestinians from Gaza. He spoke for an hour and 40 minutes, the longest presidential speech to Congress. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News.
Right now, let's lend our eyes and ears to my colleague in PTV's Baguio City studios for what's brewing of late in the Cordilleras. Audrey?
Naimbag Arabi, Pilipinas, ang nakailisan ti Baguio City Police Office iti 26 akaso ti panang abuso kadag iti babae, iti umuna adua abulan ti 2025. Nabababaday tino idilig iti kapada abulan iti 2024 at 38 akaso. Iti datos kangatuan ti violence against women and their children asapulo, sumarsaro numat ti acts of lasciviousness a 8 ken panagramas wenno rape nga adan iti 5 akaso. Sigun pa iti BCPO ti kaubingan a biktima ket agtawon iti 5 ken ti kataengan ket agtawon iti 56. 15 anyos met ti kaubingan at suspect ken 66 ti kataengan. Ita Women's Month palpalagipan ti BCPO dagiti babay a nakapasar iti panagabuso nga umasideg iti opisina.
So pag ngayon lang lumalabas, siyempre alam niyang na-abuse siya at gusto niyang mag-file ng case, we encourage them to come out and speak out and mag-file ng kaso kasi pwede namin silang tulungan for the investigation of the case.
Iti sabali adamag 26 nga agtutubo iti Cordillera tinaipaayan iti pamigbig ken cash grant iti awarding ceremony para iti Young Farmers Challenge Program ti Department of Agriculture Cordillera. Iti Provincial Startup Awardees 23 nga agtutubo ti naipaayan pamigbig po iti dedikasyon da nga mangpaduruas iti sektor ti agrikultura. Tunggal awardees ket nakaawat iti 80,000 pesos ka startup grant. Talumat manalon manipod apayaw, Mountain Province kan benggit ti nabigbig iti regional upscale category kan naipaayan iti sag 300,000 pesos a cash grant. Nayunay-unay ti kinapatagdag iti agtutubo a manalon para iti panakaduras ti agricultural landscape iti Cordillera. Dagita dagiti damdamag manipod iti PTV Cordillera, siak ni Audrey Villena na Imbag Arabi.
Many thanks, Audrey. And that is all she wrote for tonight's show. Join us anew tomorrow for breaking stories in our evening edition of PTV News Now. And remember to always keep it here for news you can count on, news you can trust. Shorms Espina here wishing you all a restful night ahead. And thank you for watching PTV News Now.